There were supposed to be cupcakes, but I ate them. The real tragedy is, they weren't good. So now I feel like I have to go get more cupcakes of a more delicious variety. Kia ora, I'm Erin J. Doyle. Welcome to my channel. Today marks 1 year since I launched this channel, and I thought surely there is a tag for such an occasion, and I went hunting and I found two sets of questions that do exist that are essentially AuthorTube 1 year anniversary video tags, but they weren't quite what I wanted. They weren't bad, but they just weren't exactly, and they weren't questions that I felt like answering, and I was like, So I decided to just write my own questions. So I guess in theory this is a YouTube anniversary tag video thing, I don't know. Anyway, so I've written up some questions. I will have them down in the description below if you feel like doing this. What I have done is write them so they are really generic for any kind of content creator. I don't know why I did that, it's just something that seems to have happened and I've just gone with it. So if you create content outside of AuthorTube, you could still use these questions if you felt like it. So question 1. Has anything changed about your channel over the past year? So this could be the content you're creating, how many videos you're putting up, what kind of background you have, the equipment you're using, anything. So for me, I think my background has changed just kind of by accident and laziness. What I was doing with my original videos was always filming in front of a set of bookshelves that I had put up next to a window, so I had a bit more natural light because this room is really dark. But what I have found is that at certain times of day the light comes in through that window like quite aggressively, and because there are blinds you end up with not just intense light but like stripy light, and it just wasn't working unless I started filming first thing in the morning. So I've started making more and more videos at this end of the room away from the stripy light source, which is not as an aesthetically pleasing end of the room, but it works out nicer. I think it's still better than having stripes all over yourself, so that's something that's changed. The day that I'm uploading has changed, but that's mostly just because I was originally uploading, I think it was Thursdays, and then I was going to 2 days a week, but then for work reasons it just got too hard and I've scaled back to once a week and on a Saturday, so that if I'm just too tired for editing or filming or anything during the week, then at least I have Saturday as my last ditch effort to make a video. So it's all very practical, boring changes which have happened. Question 2. What from the past year are you the most proud of? So again, this could be something that you've actually created and uploaded, so it could be a video, it could be an unrelated goal. What are you the most proud of? I think actually creating a channel and keeping up with it. There have been a couple of times where I've missed a video, but more or less I'm still here. There have, like I said, there have been a couple of misses and I think 1 or 2 delayed videos, but I'm still pretty proud of the fact that I decided to do this and I'm actually doing it a year later. Question 3. Have you finished a project in the last year? There have been 2 projects that I finished, both of them in 2020. So I had a new project that I took on for NaNoWriMo, which was a sci-fi retelling of The Little Mermaid, and I finished the first draft. It's not like the whole project is finished, but I still feel like that's a significant thing that I got to that end. Now I have to like go back and rewrite the entire thing because it was very crappy. But nonetheless, that was done. And the other thing which I actually finished was a not writing project. I decided, I think in November, that I was going to crochet a hippopotamus for my mother for Christmas, and I had 30 days to get it done, and I had never done that technique before, and I was still during Nano, and then obviously general Christmassy hoo-ha and end of year wrap-ups at work. So it was a really stressful time to take on a brand new project that was a massive learning curve and with a deadline. But I did it. I finished it at 1 AM Christmas morning. Like, it was really down to the wire, but I got it finished, and it was everything that I could have hoped it would be. It was like one of my best crochet projects ever, so I was very happy with that one. Question 4. Have you started a new project in the last year? So both of those two projects I started that year. I think the planning for the Little Mermaid one probably went from before I started my YouTube channel, so maybe not. But the sort of practical working on it part was within the last year. No, I haven't really started anything new. I have to very, very shortly get myself sorted for NaNoWriMo for this year. Yeah, it's not looking good currently. I don't even know what I'm going to work on. Question 5. Which video from the last year was the most fun for you to make? I'm going to say mine was the 37 things I've learned in 37 years, which required a lot of brainstorming in advance, and I was basically at work, like during my breaks and things, like making notes and trying to think of what were the best things I could come up with, because at one point I did actually surpass 37 and I had to kind of pick which ones were the most important to share. And because I was doing this in like the break room, other people I work with were noticing what I was doing, and there's a lot of people sharing bits of wisdom and obviously offering unsolicited critique of my own lived experiences, which was one of the things that ended up on the list as a no, don't do that. But it was nonetheless an interesting, I don't know, learning / processing of things I had already learned kind of thing. So I don't know if that's quite fun, but it was interesting. Number 6, which of your videos from the past year has had the most views? I actually don't know. Hang on. Apparently, my answer for that one is my story about a little dog video, which I made after Kate Kavanagh lost her dog Duke and was asking for people to share a memory of one of their fluffy loved ones, and I couldn't pick a specific memory to share, and I decided instead that at the beginning of my next video I would just share some photos of some of my pets. And I basically got out of control and ended up making a whole video dedicated to one of the family dogs. Number 7, have you surpassed a major subscriber count milestone in the past year? No. Number 8, is there anything that you wish you had done differently in the past year? There's probably a few like little tiny nitpicky things I could identify as things that I could have done better, or could have been better organised, or maybe I should have just refilmed rather than just going with really choppy editing. But for the most part I've done what I can do, and as far as I'm concerned that's good enough, because why would I ask more of myself than that? Number 9, do you have any goals or changes planned for your channel for the next year? So I have one potential goal, but it has so many big giant glowing ifs attached to it that I'm kind of nervous as yet to commit. I did mention this in my last video where I was talking about plans that had gone awry in 2021 and whether or not I was going to commit to a 2022 plan, and I'm not yet ready to commit to that, but I'm looking into the possibility of a significant international adventure which of course relies on borders being open and things. Yeah, we're just not committing yet because it's a bit too soon. But overall I think I don't see my content changing in any particular way. Number 10, what is something you have learned in the last year? I have learned about adding music to videos and how to like edit it to like put stuff here and that kind of thing. I didn't know how to do any of that when I uploaded my first video, so I have, yeah, not like become a master of editing in any way, but at least I have some vague beginner skills that I certainly didn't have at the beginning. I have not, however, mastered the ability to not kick my tripod. Number 11, have you tried out any new types of content on your channel in the last year? Kind of, but not really. Like, it's still talking about poetry, which I think is very comfortably within the sort of standard AuthorTube realm, but I created 2 videos where I was sharing a poem of mine but using kind of a short film kind of format where I had images and music and that kind of thing on the screen rather than just me reading it out loud, which is definitely not something that I could have pulled off when I first started this channel because I didn't have the editing skills. Our final question is, who are some of the creators that you have met or even just found and not spoken to in the last year? So Meredith Phillips, Joey Paul, Kayla Amanda, Caitlin Ash, I think. I will have their channels and things down in the description. And then also yesterday I came across a brand new channel. I think the creator's name is Kayla as well, but her channel's called Alt Knots and it's a crocheting channel, and I've just become a little bit obsessed with it in the last day because most of the crocheting channels that I come across are quite subdued, and they're just like a shot of the person's hands while they walk you through the project step by step, which is like useful but not necessarily entertaining, whereas this one is run by a very goth type person who's really high energy and does a lot of just vlogging, chit-chatting type of content. So it's still nerdy fibre crafts but a little bit more entertaining than a how-to video. So those are the channels that I have found, I think, in the last year that I can think of. As I said, links down in the description. Those are all the questions. I will of course leave them down in the description below. I've made sure that in addition to being kind of vague enough that you could apply them to a channel with any kind of content, you could also use them for any given anniversary of your channel, not just the first anniversary. So even if your channel's a little bit older than mine, you could still do this tag. If you do this tag, do let me know down in the comments so I can go check out your video. If you have enjoyed this video, do give it a like, and if you're new around here, maybe consider hitting subscribe and ringing that bell so you can stay up to date, and I'll see you next time. Bye!